Hello and welcome to another Nikke video. Bae's kit has recently been released, and is it as bad as people think it is? Let's analyze her kit and find out. So here is Bae. She's part of the Rewind squad. Her type is Defender, weapon Rocket Launcher, first skill 2, and code is Fire. Skill 1 is called You Can Do It, and it's a passive. Activates if self survives when using burst skill, affects all allies. Proportionally shares damage taken continuously. Defense up 10.13% of caster's defense continuously. Looking at skill 1, in order to have any of it being active, the burst chain has to finish, and all of that, she also has to survive. But looking at the first part of skill 1 here, it's something very similar to what Jackal does, where she shares damage to other units on the team. Where how Bae's is different is that Jackal, she only does 3 Nikkes total, including herself, where right here it looks like the whole team. And what they added new here was the word proportionally. But I'm assuming that it's just pretty much going to divide the damage by 1/5, pretty much there's 5 Nikkes on the team, and then work like how Jackal's does, like work exactly like that. Of course, we have to wait for her to actually come out to see what it fully means, but that's what I'm assuming. As for the second part of skill 1, the defense up is pretty nice. Looking at the second part of skill 1, the defense up is pretty nice. I mean, at least it's a small increase there. There are other Nikkes in the game that have a higher increase in defense. For example, Sakura, I think she does even higher than the 10.13% you're seeing there. But pretty much this is only going to be active as long as the burst is still going, and all of that, she has to survive as well. So as soon as she perishes, unfortunately, all this skill 1 will be completely gone. So please keep that in mind. And since she shares damage with all the other Nikkes, it's very possible that she could actually be taken out pretty quick. Since especially like once you go to the hard mode or actually go to the harder content, the raptures hit like a truck. So it's very possible that she could die extremely quickly. But of course, only time will tell of how everything goes here. Next up is skill 2 called Cheer Up Together, and it's also a passive. Activates if self survives when using burst skill, affects all allies. Proportionally shares damage taken continuously. Activates when full burst ends, affects self. Constantly recovers cover HP by 2.88% of caster's final max HP every 1 second for 5 seconds. Alright, now looking at the first part of skill 2, this is pretty odd here since I don't know why they added both lines, the proportionally shares damage taken continuously like 2 times, since usually it only really has to apply 1 time. I mean, technically this could sort of apply twice, but realistically the amount of damage is going to be taken is going to be the same. So even though if you divide it, 5 times or 10 times, the max amount of damage is still going to be the same. So I'm not sure why they added it twice here. We would have to see how it is in game to fully understand. I even checked the Japanese and Korean base kit as well, just to confirm. And yeah, everything is translated correctly there. So I'm not 100% sure why they added this twice. All right, now looking at the second part of skill 2, this will activate as soon as the full burst ends. So as soon as the full burst ends, then this part of the skill is going to go ahead and be active. She's going to go ahead and recover the cover's HP, but please keep in mind that this is only going to affect yourself. This is not going to affect the whole team. So even if any other allies have some of their cover damage, or maybe like it's getting very low, unfortunately, this is only going to affect Bae, and that's it, nobody else. And even then, even though it says constantly recovers, it's only for 5 seconds total. It's not going to be for the whole match, unfortunately. I think it would have been better maybe if it was a whole match, but even then, she does not have any taunting or anything like that. All she's doing is just sharing damage. Even any damage she does happen to share, even while she's in cover, that's only going to be recovered after the burst ends, not during. And again, please keep in mind, it's only for 5 seconds total. And then after that, then pretty much the second skill is over, besides that first portion of skill 2. Lastly, the burst skill is called First Winner, and it's a 40-second cooldown. Affects self, covers max HP up 18% of the caster's max HP, lasts for 20 seconds. Affects all allies, damage taken down 8.87% for 10 seconds. Looking at the first part of the burst skill here, so she does happen to increase her own, only her own max HP for the cover. And pretty much how cover works is that every time you level up the Nikke, they actually get more and more cover HP. It's actually quite a significant amount. But of course, once you start doing the harder content, since the raptors hit so hard, the cover usually goes pretty quick. And even then, the amount of HP that she's getting, it's only 18%, and it's only for 20 seconds as well. Please keep that in mind. It's not for the whole duration of the match. And again, it's only for herself. It is not for the whole team. And now looking at the second part of the burst skill here. So luckily this does affect the whole team. So the damage taken will be down 8.87%, but it's only for 10 seconds. There are other Nikkes in the game that do something very similar. For example, there's Sakura. Sakura only does it for wind-coated enemies though. We're just going to go ahead and reduce the damage there. Not only that, there are other Nikkes that do it for themselves, for example, like Ludmilla. So the damage will be reduced just a small amount, but again, it's only going to be for 10 seconds. It's not going to be a huge amount of time. Now, for my final thoughts. looking at Bei's overall kit, I'm actually quite shocked they released this kit as is. I know she is a defender, and usually the archetype of a defender is, to go ahead and make sure your allies survive as long as possible. But, obviously we're looking at the share damage, damage taken going down, defense up. All that's fine and good. Unfortunately, a lot of the kit here, it definitely isn't really good for PvE at all. Since once you get to the harder content, just like I've been mentioning, yeah, the raptures hit really hard. So she would die extremely quick, like within the first few seconds, if you manage to get hit in the harder content. Not only that as well, where a majority of her kit pretty much works during her burst. And not only that, some of the kit also only works for herself, surprisingly. And even the parts that actually affect the other allies, I don't feel that it's actually a very, very big benefit to the team. I was even trying to rack my brain to see what units would even be beneficial for Bei. I'm having a very hard time to even come up with any units that would actually be a big benefit. And this is going to be something in the future, like a future Nikke unit that they're going to release that actually takes advantage of all this. Some of the ideas that I was thinking of is maybe another Nikke that has like a powered up form after receiving a certain amount of hits. For example, Yoha has this already, where after she gets, I think, attacked 30 times, her critical rate goes very high. Or maybe another type of Nikke where, depending on how much of the damage receives, it's going to power up that Nikke or maybe the team in a certain way. I don't know, because right now, unfortunately, there are not that many Nikkes that could actually take advantage of this. Yeah, very, very few Nikkes could take advantage of this. And even then, you might want to use another Nikke instead of Bei in her place. Because right now, how I'm looking at it, especially if you're on the fence or you're free to play, if you're not 100% sure if you should pull on this, I would recommend not pulling. Since right now, really how I'm looking at her, she's mostly going to be used for PvP. And even for the PvP, I'm not 100% sure how useful she will be in PvP. Since even with a lot of the AoE damage there, even if she does happen to survive, unfortunately, since she shares the damage with all the team, I can see a lot of Nikkes dying extremely fast, especially the ones that don't have enough defense or even enough HP. And if she's alive, she's going to continuously be giving damage to those very weak Nikkes. So unless there's like this other team comp that somebody happens to realize that makes her extremely useful, yeah, it's going to be very, very hard to go ahead and say, hey, put Bei on this team, unless something drastically changes. Yeah, right now I'm trying to rack my brain, even for PvP comps, and I can't be 100% sure that I would put her over another Nikke in her place. So I would honestly only really recommend to pull this unit for right now. Would it be either if you're a collector? So if you're a collector, I would say, yeah, go ahead, but even then, please keep in mind that she is not a limited unit, so she will be back to the regular pull. But obviously this will be the best time to go ahead and pull her. You will have the best chance to get this unit. Or if not, if you really like her design. I mean, her design is absolutely fantastic. I think it might be some of the best in the game. I mean, man, there's a lot to her. Yeah, she's extremely cute, and yeah, her design is absolutely fantastic, in my opinion anyways. But other than that, if you want like a top tier Nikke or maybe a Nikke that's really good, right now, how I'm seeing it, I don't think Bei is going to be it. I mean, how I already just said earlier, maybe in the future, if they do happen to release another Nikke that actually takes more advantage of Bei's kit, I can actually see her being pretty good. But for right now, with the current Nikkes released and how we don't know the future, it is not looking good for Bei, just for like if you're free to play or if you're not quite sure. Yeah, I would highly recommend not pulling. Luckily, how I already said, she is not a limited unit, so she will be put back into the regular pull. You could always put her on the wish list and go ahead and get her that way. Or the only other way that she might be able to redeemed is maybe if they actually happen to make Clay complementary to Bei here and actually takes full advantage of a lot of Bei's kit, similar how Tia, Naga, and also Blanc and Noir. Like another duo, only way I could really see her, rising up the ranks. But currently right now, how I'm seeing with her kit, yeah, that's going to be a little rough right now. So yeah, that's about it. I was really hoping that Bei would have an amazing kit, blow everybody out of the water, because I know her look is absolutely phenomenal, and I wish her look was exactly like her kit. And seeing how she is a Tetra unit, obviously Mustang put very special care to Bei here. And luckily, there's a lot of really good Tetra units, so not all of them could be gold. I really wish Bei was gold there. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I want to know if you're still going to pull despite the kit here. I mean, I'm a collector, so I'm still going to pull regardless, but I would like to know your thoughts on this kit here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like and a sub. I would really appreciate it. I'm Scrublord, and I'll see you on the next one.